Welcome to the Better Eye Health Podcast with Damon P. Miller II, MD. This particular podcast is an excerpt from the weekly conference calls. Dr. Miller focuses on different topics connected to the Better Eye Health program. The topic of this session is about the Better Eye Health Basic Protocol, focusing on taurine. Here is Dr. Miller.
So, just in our brief little talk here, the 7 items in the protocol, the supplement protocol that we use for the treatment of eye disease. One of them, the one we're going to talk about today, is taurine. And let me just say that today is the 13th of April, 2016, and I believe the reference number for this call is 5. I'll have to check on that, but I believe it's 5. Number 5, call number 5. So, taurine.
I think that's correct.
So, taurine. Taurine, there are a number of different classes of things that are in the supplement protocol. There are the antioxidants, the things that are designed to reduce the damage that happens in the retina, so the vitamins and the minerals provide a lot of that. But then there's also a class of things, we're doing a program here. We're doing a program intended to regenerate tissue in the eyes. And we get that regeneration by enlisting the systems in the body and in the head and in the eye that help us regenerate complex tissues like the spinal cord, the brain, and the eye, and those are the stem cells that we all carry around with us. But if you're trying to rebuild complex tissues, you need to make sure you have all the raw materials present. And for the most part, those raw materials are present from things we eat, but there are a few specialized ones, and we include those in the protocol because we want to make sure you have enough of those. And taurine is one of those. The other two that kind of fall in that classification are the lutein that we talked about last week and the BEH from fish oil. But today, talking about taurine, taurine is simply an amino acid. It's a sulfur-containing amino acid. It's called a conditionally essential amino acid. And what that means, anything in nutrition where there's a word essential, so essential fatty acids, essential amino acids, that word means you have to eat it because you can't make it. It has to be in your diet. Taurine, there's some limited ability to fabricate. Your body can fabricate taurine from other amino acids, but it doesn't do it very efficiently. And so we want to make sure you have enough taurine around, so we have you take 1 pill a day, and it's actually a vegetarian source, the one from Thorne. We suggest you take it at night because the amino acids don't stay in the blood very long, and also amino acids absorption into the bloodstream out of the gut is competitive, meaning if you just had a big piece of meat and you take a taurine pill, there are only a few revolving doors, a few places where the amino acids can get from the gut into the bloodstream. And if there's a lot of competition for those few doors, you may not absorb all of the taurine in the pill you take. And so by taking it at bedtime, you do a couple of things. One, it's separate from other food you've eaten, any major meals. And 2, it puts that taurine into your blood supply at night, which is when the majority of all healing happens in the body. Most healing in the body happens when you're asleep at night. So the only other place in the body where there's as high a concentration of taurine as you find in the eye is in the heart. So taurine is also something useful for your heart. The data on taurine is rather interesting. Some of it is rather indirect data, which is what happens when you don't have enough taurine. And there's been data in human beings about that. Taurine-deficient diets are mostly found in people who don't eat meat, so vegetarians or vegans can sometimes get into troubles with their eyes and their heart because they aren't getting enough of the sulfur-containing amino acids that would help build taurine or actually contain taurine themselves. One study that it wasn't really a study, it was kind of an accident. People who are vegan or vegetarian, sometimes they want to have vegan or vegetarian food for their pets. They just don't want meat in the house at all. And there were some attempts to make some vegetarian cat foods. And without meat, there's not enough taurine for the cats, and a whole lot of cats ended up blind, literally blind, because of the lack of taurine, and it was not reversible. So, there is some evidence like that shows this clear relationship between the health of the eyes and the need for taurine. The taurine could be taken at other times as long as it was away from other big meals that contained a lot of protein. It does not have to be at bedtime. But when you take it at bedtime, like I say, it gives you that added benefit of having it circulating in your body at the time when you're trying to actually rebuild cells. That's really about the end of the story on taurine. And if people have questions about it, we can come back to that at the end. Foods that are rich in taurine are things that contain a lot of sulfur-containing amino acids. So eggs are a great source of taurine. Meat has a lot of taurine in it. So there are food sources for taurine. But just to be safe, we found that adding the single pill to the supplement protocol was valuable.
Tune in for more podcasts and other presentations. Go to www.bettereyehealth.com. There is hope for sight.